So here's how you know college football never has an off time. It's late last night. And on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken, it's already past midnight. And for those of us still awake, we're about ready to drift off to slumber. And then Auburn hits us with a "Hey, you up" text because we just hired a defensive coordinator. DJ Durkin, not leaving the SEC, sticking around after 2 seasons in College Station, Texas, and headed to the plains of Auburn, Alabama. What type of hire is this for Hugh Freeze? Is this a smart one? Will it come back to bite him in the keister? And what type of message is Freeze sending to boosters going into year 2? Let's go ahead and discuss. But if you are new here, welcome on into the channel, people. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I get it. The season's come to a close. Best of luck to Jim Harbaugh in the NFL, and happy trails to you, Michigan fans, as you're riding off into the sunset as national champions. But the offseason, my time to shine. Here to keep you entertained nonstop. So if this is your daily dose of college football, you need to survive the offseason. Might I recommend button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the hiring of DJ Durkin at Auburn. Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, Auburn faithful, SEC fans, and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we're on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking about our favorite sport. Follow me on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson, Twitter, X, Instagram. Send me a DM. Slide into my emails, colethompsonwriting@gmail.com. But that way, conversations surrounding our favorite sport never have to stop flowing. So, DJ Durkin, in my opinion, is like a piece of cheese pizza. Plain and simple. What you see is what you get. You're not going to get a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of trick plays. It's a lot of consistency. And for the most part, you can survive off of a cheese pizza. Most people are not going to hate cheese pizza, just like most people aren't going to hate a DJ Durkin-led defense. There's consistency there. Go look at his time at Texas A&M. As bad as the Aggies have been the last 2 years in the Jimbo Fisher era, it's not because of their defense. 2022, #1 passing unit in all of college football. Last season, top 3 in the SEC in total yards allowed, top 3 in the SEC in scoring, top 20 nationally in total defense, run defense, and in scoring. Great on third down. You know what you're getting with a type of hire like DJ Durkin. It is about as clean cut, good of a hire you can make. It's not great. It's not elite. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's good. It's solid. It's firm. Good gets you results. And that's what you're expecting now with DJ Durkin. And with the personnel that Auburn has, especially with what they've brought in, whether that be on the recruiting trail, the transfer portal, what Freeze has implemented, he's going to get the best version of the Tigers out next season. I do believe this can be a unit that sits somewhere in the top 40, top 50 range. Certainly be better in the front 7. I do worry about their secondary a little bit, but they are at least a team that added in some young pieces. Maybe that will be enough to sustain a little bit more progress moving forward. But when it comes to Freeze, what this hire means is I'm not settling. And I understand why. I really do. When you look at a place like Auburn, there are expectations beyond belief. And I've talked about this on multiple videos, including last week when I mentioned that Auburn is the toughest job in college football. I truly believe that because expectations aren't changing, results have to. And so last season, you went 6-7. For most coaches, year 1 after the Brian Harsin experiment went up in flames almost immediately. Like the second he touched down, everyone had that sick feeling in your stomach, like you know something bad's about to happen, and all that protruded was a spew of madness for 2 years. So 6-7, year 1, bowl eligibility, bad showing in the bowl game against Maryland. Yeah, it's fine. We can make this work. But Freeze is saying, No. I've been here before. I've been in the SEC on multiple occasions. I know what works and what doesn't. And if I don't get my stuff together pretty quickly, I may be shown the door as quickly as Brian Harsin was. So I'm not settling for okay. I am raising the expectations. And he's done that so far, whether it be on the recruiting trail. He had the top 10 recruiting class this past year, able to land Cam Coleman from Texas A&M at the last second, whether it be in the transfer portal, whether it be with coaching staffs, going out of his way to fire Philip Montgomery, a proven offensive mind, to take over as the play caller, whether it be firing Ron Roberts to hire DJ Durkin. He's saying what's been working in Auburn is not sustainable for me. And I'm not going to go ahead and hold my head up and say, well, we're just playing for year 3. Once we get to year 3, everything will go back in peachy keen. No, because that's not always the case. Look at Billy Napier right now. Napier is a perfect example of wait until year 3 to see where everything has to kind of hit. Because year 1, you had some progress, young quarterback, decent overall offensive line. you went 6-7. Next year, you went 5-7. And now your job is very much under scrutiny, and you have to win this year. And your schedule is about as pure from hell as possible that I don't think even the devil himself would want to play that type of game. I don't think anybody would want to play that type of game, especially when you look at what is in the non-conference. So Auburn can't just sit around and say, yeah, we're good with what happened with Philip Montgomery and Ron Roberts. That was fine. We just got to build off of that. No, Hugh Freeze is laying down the law and saying, Nick Saban is gone. The opportunity for us to make a CFP is possible. And I know what the expectations are on the Plains. It's never going to change, people. And as much as fans would like to go ahead and say, we see continued progress, those pulling the strings, those writing the bills, and those cashing the checks are saying 6-7 will never cut it at Auburn. Not even in your first year. And you can't expect to go 6-7 another season and feel pretty content about your job moving forward. So you hire someone safe. You hire someone who can get the best version with the X's and O's, and you don't really worry about the outside noise. You're going to do whatever you want if you're Hugh Freeze. And at the end of the day, if it ends up working out for you, no one's going to care in the world about a situation. You're all going to say, that was a smart hire. That was a good move, because we've seen it time and time and time again. Once you just get the right guy at the helm, everything becomes peachy keen. And so if you look at what Hugh Freeze has done so far, the moves made are actually ones that you should be very excited about as an Auburn fan. You should be very elated to know that the coach that's in charge is doing things different than the last few years. And difference what exactly got you in the situation where you had to fire Gus Malzahn, where you had to fire Brian Harsin. They didn't want to make changes. And because they didn't make changes, they were shown the door. You're watching the changes made by Hugh Freeze, and these are changes that eventually are going to pave the way to maybe a 9-3 season. And we know that right now, 9-3, at least based off of the conversations with the College Football Playoff Committee, keeps you in the running. Doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to make it into a 12-team playoff, but it doesn't knock you out either. And so 9-3 might now be the goal moving forward for Auburn, and they could do it. Do they have to upgrade a quarterback? I would say so. I would be very shocked if after spring football, those 15 practices go by and you're not sitting there saying, well, let's just see who's out there. I mean, we don't have to name him the starter week one, but let's just see who's out there, because that was the problem going into last season. And eventually this is what it resulted. If they can get more stability on the offense and just give yourself an opportunity, I like this Auburn team. And a lot of people think all the time that I hate Auburn because I went to Bama. I have no problems with Auburn. They're a fun school that is great for football, and it's great for the Southeastern region. Anybody who has ever been to Jordan-Hare Stadium knows what an atmosphere Auburn is like on game days. And they're good, and they're a good team, and they can be a good team. The problem is that they had to make sure that the expectations were actually going to be made. And whatever expectations were set, they would be accomplished. 6-7 was never going to be good enough for Hugh Freeze in year one. It's not going to be good enough in year two. So he makes these necessary changes. And sometimes safe keeps you employed a little bit longer. You don't have to worry a lot about DJ Durkin when it comes to his play style. He has experience in the SEC. He knows the lay of the land when it comes to recruiting, whether it be at Florida, whether it be at Auburn, whether it be at Ole Miss, whether it be at Texas A&M. He gets the lay of the land. He's going to be a guy that comes in and fortifies your defense. You're in a really good spot if you're Auburn. Nick Saban's gone. You've done a decent job on the recruiting trail. Now you're going to be able to kind of flip some kids at the last second that are going into 2025. You could be in a lot worse places if you're Auburn. The good news is that you have the right guy. Now the question turns to, can it all come together in 2024? Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.